The number of hyperscale data centers has more than doubled in the past 5 years, with more than 47,000 megawatts of new capacity under construction. To put that into perspective, once complete, you could instead power over 35,250,000 American homes. With all this new development and an overall feeding frenzy over artificial intelligence, many have been quick to jump on the idea of data centers in space. However, I have my skepticism on the practicality of this, so in today's video we're going to be taking a realistic look at data centers in space. To first look at the appeal over what we have today, Earth data centers are expensive. They eat up an insane amount of electricity and cooling them is a nightmare. Space flips that equation. You've got free solar power, you've got a cold vacuum for cooling, and you don't have to buy land. That's the pitch at least, but it's not all what it seems. In space, it's hard to take advantage of these nice crisp temperatures because there's no airflow or water, meaning no convection. This means you have to rely off radiating the heat out in massive radiators. The sun is also a contender in this situation, and it sort of creates a paradox. You don't want sun because you need to cool the servers, but at the same time, no sun means no power because it relies on solar. This makes a complex balance where the data center must be kept in the shade while the power producing section needs as much sun as possible. The other major trade-off is that although you don't need to pay for land, you need to pay an absurd amount to deliver it into orbit. Most are relying off the idea that Starship will make sending mass into space extremely cheap, but as of now it's high-end and practical. In my opinion, the real bonus of space data centers comes from security and sustainability. Companies aren't just looking at putting data centers in orbit around Earth, but they're also looking at putting them on the moon. This is largely to protect the data centers long-term from hackers, natural disasters, or even war. The other big bonus is sustainability. Currently, data centers consume about 1 to 2% of global electricity, which of course translates into a massive carbon footprint and just a massive footprint overall. By putting these ecosystem destroyers in space, the environmental impacts will be less. It won't go to zero because all the new specialty components will need to be manufactured and rockets will need to launch millions of pounds into orbit, but I believe over the long term, especially with the size in which they're growing, the impacts will be outweighed. My final verdict is, at this moment they're extremely impractical, but over the long term they make sense. And to get to that point, we need early pioneers to develop necessary technology, so I wouldn't discredit those working toward this new goal now.